Hello, everyone, and welcome to week 3 of the Healthy Eating Bootcamp. My name is Holly Niles, and I'm a clinical nutritionist. And I hope you've been enjoying our week 1 and week 2 offerings, the recipes, the tips, and we always welcome your feedback and questions of ways that we can help make this even easier for you. And today we're going to shift our focus to fat. And some of you may remember a time where we were actually a bit fat phobic. There was a lot of low fat and non-fat foods, dressings and things. And what we learned from that was that when we take out fat, we actually are adding a lot of processed sugars and carbohydrates. And that can really be a problem for the body. That's very inflammatory. So now we know that we have to get a balance and healthy fats are important. And we know that fats really, gram for gram give us even more energy than our carbohydrates or proteins. So there's about 4 calories of energy in those versus 9 calories of energy in fat. So we know when we eat fat, we can feel more satisfied, more sated at a meal. And so that's an important foundation of why fat is important in the diet. And we also know that fat is used for brain power and even things like neurological function. Our nervous system really needs those proper fats. We see that there's a lot of research. You may have read about things like fish oil being very anti-inflammatory. That's another key part of fat, kind of putting out the fire, the natural inflammation that happens in the body. And as well, when we think of fats, we always come back to our cell membranes. So our cell membranes are made of fats. They have what we call a phospholipid layer, and lipid's just another word for fat that really allows a resilience to our cell, things moving in and out of our cells, everything from minerals to glucose, and we want that cell to be very resilient so that things can move in and out easily. That's what keeps us healthy. So when we talked about our proteins, we put an emphasis on the sources of protein, and the same is true for fat. Best fat sources are the plant fat. So, extra virgin olives, olive oil, avocados, nuts and seeds, probably the raw are the better ones, extra virgin coconut oil or virgin coconut oil, sesame oil, red palm oil. Those are plant fats that really supply the body both with nutrition and with proper energy. The flip side of that are the pro-inflammatory fats. These are the fats we want to avoid. So many of you may be familiar with hydrogenated fats, partially hydrogenated oils. They are altered in a way chemically that the body sees them as pro-inflammatory. Additionally, things like corn oil, soybean oil, canola oil are also processed manufactured fats or fats that come from raw materials that have a lot of toxicity in them. We also know that too much animal fat is problematic. So some studies now say that the animal fat, for example, that comes from grass-fed cows is actually good for the body, but the more manufactured beef products, things where they're not grown, they're eating corn or grains and things, those fats are probably more pro-inflammatory. So the big factor with fat that I find is that, interestingly enough, people often eat too little. So you want to have an eye to those portions, at least a tablespoon at a meal for an adult. That might be 1 to 2 tablespoons of nuts or seeds, maybe 1/4 to 1/2 of an avocado. And maybe experimenting with some different fats, with a new oil, make your own salad dressing. Salad dressing can be even drizzled on steamed vegetables. And we have a recipe this week for a very simple salad dressing that really goes across the board. Maybe sauteing vegetables in things like coconut oil. So creating this variety gives us more benefit of utilizing those good fats now paired with those healthy proteins. So I hope that's helpful. Next week, we're going to talk more about carbohydrates. Thanks so much, and we'll look forward to seeing you then.